So we've got all that coming up on the show. But right now, at the top of the show, as always, we take a look back through some of this week's newspapers. And to help us do it, we've been joined by TV and radio star Ralph Mclean.
Robin, that was a great intro. I like that. You can make a living out of this, you know.
You think so?
Possibly.
What's caught your eye in the papers this week?
Well, you've got to talk about Big Brother, haven't you? I know
My favourite subject.
It's your favourite subject, and I mean, you can't avoid it at the minute. Every year I say I'm not going to watch it. Every year I end up watching it avidly, because every year they up the quota of complete nut bars. And they've done it again, haven't they? Your man Shabazz. What's going on? I mean, what's the story with Shabazz? It's absolutely crazy. I haven't seen a worse Big Brother in terms of sheer evil, because I think they're really manipulating them this year.
Yeah.
Then again, great telly.
It is.
So, I mean, obviously that's taken up so many column inches of all the papers. Shabazz, I don't know, I mean, chances are the guy, I think, does need care, does need help.
Yes,
and besides all those other wannabes as well, I mean, it's just fascinating television. It's tragic, but you can't drag your eyes away from it as well. So I've been loving Big Brother and just lapping up all the newspaper coverage of that. I think that's fantastic. Perhaps in Series 1, if you take it way back to that, there was a naivety about it, and I think people thought it was a wee bit of a psychological experiment, and it was quite interesting psychologically speaking. Now it's just people, I want to be on TV, I want to be the next Chantel, I want to do this, I want to do that. So they actually don't like any of them. I remember watching the very early Big Brothers and thinking, you know, oh, your man Craig's all right, he's a decent fella, he'd knock you up a cabinet or something, you know, if he was around the house. He'd do a bit of DIY for you out the back. But now they're all hateful. I don't know, I mean, is there anybody you like in that pile of honchos? I mean, they're all awful myself.
Who do I like? I like Grace. I have a little thing for Grace. Yes.
We think for Grace.
We think for Grace.
What about Pete?
Pete, I do like Pete, and I think Pete's got a very good chance of winning it. But what's worrying me is the first eviction night, when they go live on Channel 4, and Davina does a usual thing, we're live on Channel 4, please do not swear. What's gonna... Yeah, exactly, you know.
I have a sneaking feeling, though, and I'm sure the papers would have found this out by now if it was the case, but I think he might be a drama student guy. I think that guy, there might be not as much Tourette's in that guy as perhaps he'd like you to think. And what a great policy as well. I mean, they're never going to vote you out if you've got an illness like that. If you've, you know, it's a sympathy vote. I can't see him being voted out, because who's going to be mean enough to vote out a guy with a problem like that? So that's quite a smart move, you know.
Leah as well, the one with the big, yes. I could see her when she finishes Big Brother. I could see her standing behind the bar of the Rovers' return. I could see her as the next Julie Goodyear, the next Beth Lynch.
She's a Goodyear. She's like an old tar. She's like an old run-down tar. She's absolutely awful. Sometimes you'd love these people say, are they looking in the same mirror? You know, when they look in the morning in the mirror and they think, oh, that looks good. I like that. Now I'll just tattoo my eyebrows on again. What are they thinking? It's absolutely horrendous. Seems a nice enough woman, I have to say, but clearly damaged. But then again, that's what you want. And when they were bringing them all into the house the other night, and you were going, great, there's another complete freakazoid there. Brilliant, we'll get loads of crack out of them. So it's got more and more evil with every passing year. And I think, well, I said this last year as well, but I don't know how much further they can push it. Because I think it was, you know, this year is, I think, pushing it to the limit for sheer weirdness and for sheer damaged individuals. It's a freak show. It's a televised freak show, and I don't know where they can go from this, but it's making great viewing, and it's making great headlines in the papers as well.
And Imogen as well. Can you believe she was a Miss Wales? I mean, who was judging the Miss Wales? Stevie Wonder, was he in the judging panel?
It's Wales, Robin. Don't worry about it, mate. It's Wales. With all due respect to any Welsh people living in Belfast or whatever, it is Wales. So it's not quite as impressive as you know, Miss Rio de Janeiro or something. You know?
All right. So finally, Ralph, your favourite person in the house?
Favourite person in the house is probably Pete.
Pete,
Because do you remember Catch the Pigeon? Do you remember the cartoons for Catch the Pigeon? And the guy did all that. He reminds me of him, and I don't mean that in a remotely derogatory way. I find him quite sweet in a sort of comic with a bit of a drama school element as well. But I do find him quite sweet, you know.
Anyway, what else has caught your eye this week?
Well, I'm a big footy fan, and I'm really eagerly looking forward to the start of the World Cup, as most footy fans are. And like an awful lot of footy fans in this part of the world as well, I've got a terrible problem with the whole England 1966 thing. It winds me up big time because, you know, fair enough, they won in 1966 thanks to an Eastern European linesman who's clearly, you know, having a bit of a Stevie Wonder day himself, because that ball was never over the line. They won it in controversial circumstances in '66, and let's remember, it was in London, it was in England, you know. Big deal, home tournament, they won it. Have they ever let us forget it? And, you know, it's their tournament, football's coming home, blah, blah, blah. And because it's '06 and '66, and because it's in Germany, they think they've got the right just to walk this tournament. So, in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is, I was quite pleased, in a non-malicious way, I was quite pleased to see Wayne Rooney's injury problems. Believe the papers in recent days, so Wayne's going to make it. And I just can't believe this. You know, I'm no medical expert, but how can a guy with several broken bones in his foot suddenly be ready for the World Cup? I mean, is it all nonsense? Yuri Geller, you're a good mate of Yuri's. I mean, was he doing some sort of manipulation on this, or what? What was the story?
They probably got Yuri Geller on standby just to make sure that he gets through it now.
Yeah,
you know?
everybody said, no, forget it. When it first happened, they were like, no chance of making the World Cup. Or is it all double bluff? Is it all spin?
It could be.
Just so that England maintain the higher ground and think, well, we're okay because we got Wayne Rooney. So I've been watching that, you know, avidly, and I've seen him on bikes and things.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know, if you ever broke your foot, first thing you do is get in an oxygen tank and then on a bike. Very bizarre. So I'm hoping that he doesn't quite make it. But again, like most footy fans here, Robin, what I want to see is England do quite well in the World Cup. Because you don't want to see them go out, because if you know all the players and you know all the teams they came from and you like to watch them go quite far, you don't want them to win it.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
With all respect, I couldn't face it. They're still going on about 66. You don't want them to start in 06 as well.
Exactly,
so get quite far, get knocked out in a penalty shootout by Germany, as usual, and that would do me.
And of course, as well as the World Cup, you get the football songs as well. And
the footy songs.
We're flooded with them again. Embrace are doing the official one.
What's that about? You know, I mean,
You know?
Danny McNamara is a nice guy, but what is that about? Embrace are the most boring sub-Oasis band. I mean, was that who chooses things like that? That somebody in the FA goes, you know, my son quite likes Leeds boys and Embrace. Get them in. Do you remember Echo and the Bunnymen? Ian McCulloch did a song.
They did it
I
as well,
think the last big tournament.
Yeah. So you've got Embrace.
Good band, but why?
Exactly, yeah. You've got Badil and Skinner are doing their thing.
That's a classic in its time. Are they just redoing that?
Just redoing it, just revamping it and sticking it out. And
didn't work the last time, so I'm happy enough. Let them release it.
And we're going to be hearing Amarillo all over the summer as well, because Tony Christie has done a football Amarillo for them now as well.
Wee bit tragic, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Wee bit tragic that Tony's coming back with that, but nice guy.
Yeah.
Second-hand car salesman sort of vibe about him, but in a nice way, sort of Swiss Tony. And I like him because I always loved the Protectors. The Avenues and Alleyways.
Exactly, yes.
Great tune, folks. Avenues and Alleyways, Tony Christie. Well, he may as well fleece it. It's his tune. And if nobody, you know, if he can't get a few quid out of it, because don't forget all the money from Amarillo was for comic relief, wasn't it?
Exactly,
so
yes.
He deserves to make a few bob. Good luck to him. That's the one I would support, but not Embrace. That's just...
God,
no, God.
Right, what else?
Well, I want to tell you about this kid, because these are the kind of stories... You see, I've done a bit of research here.
You see, nobody else ever does research when they come in. They pick up the Sun when they arrive downstairs in the green room, that's it.
Well, now, you see, what I call research is just printing something off the internet that happened to be open. Anyway, but never mind. I'm quite impressed with this, because, you know, when you read something, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I never understand people who climb mountains, right? I don't really know why they do it. I don't understand why people go down potholes. What's the point, you know? I mean, ski lifts were invented to get you over mountains, you know, and cable cars were invented to get over. Why go up them? So I never understand why people do things and then want to be praised for it, I think. So here's a story that I seen in today's news, right? A 7-year-old boy has become the youngest person to swim the chilly and choppy waters from Alcatraz prison to the San Francisco shore, right? Now this fella, Braxton Bilberry, there's a great name, isn't it?
Name.
Top kid, 7 years old, and he swam from Alcatraz prison, Alcatraz Island, if you've seen the movies, Escape from Alcatraz and all the great prison movies. He swam, and it took him 47 minutes, and he said he could have done it twice. My question is, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do it? Doubtless there are tourist boats going back and forward there every 15 minutes. Why do it?
Yeah.
And then why expect the world's media and people like me to go, brilliant, Braxton, you've swam something that there are clearly boats to take you across. I don't understand. Maybe it's just me. I don't understand people who are into extreme sports throwing themselves off mountains, throwing themselves down potholes. Don't start me. It's my favourite subject.
Aye, but there are no sharks around there as well.
Well, I've seen the movies. They're normally in the movies. They have loads of sharks to stop the prisoners.
Yeah.
Did you know as well, interesting prison fact, nobody ever swam. Not one prisoner ever swam away from Alcatraz. Despite all the myths and the movies and the escapes that you always see on TV shows, nobody ever escaped from Alcatraz via the water.
Okay.
Al Capone was in there as well.
Yeah.
You can tell I just read all that.
You did, yeah. Well done.
Little page. I'm quite impressed.
Well done to little Braxton then.
Little Braxton, well done, son. 7 years old.
Finally, if you got one more for us?
I got one more for you, and it's the lovely Madonna. And doubtless you're reading all about this week as well, kicking off her latest tour, Los Angeles. And the Church of England getting on their high horse about Madonna because she's used a huge cross, apparently. She performed the ballad Live to Tell while suspended from a giant mirrored cross on the opening night. Isn't that brilliant? Does this not smack of an old doll who really should know better?
Exactly.
She's trying to court a bit of controversy, and I don't know. I think time's up, Madonna.
Okay, Ralph, thank you so much for coming in.
Robin, it's been a pleasure.
And doing this, and you're back on the radio Saturday night.
I am. Saturday nights, Mclean's Country. Everybody loves a bit of country music, even if you don't know it. Mclean's Country, 8 to 10. And Radio 2 Tuesday nights for the next 3 or 4 weeks as well. So tune in, 9:30.
Great stuff. We look forward to it. Thanks, Ralph. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Good cup of tea as well, mate.
Thank you.
Nice one.